On STAR 2.0, we will have short constructed response questions. You'll expect to see these questions on the RLA test, the science test, and the social studies test. Now, there are two different types of short constructed responses. First, we have the one that's going to show up on reading, science, and social studies. And this is where the student gives a brief explanation in their own words to demonstrate their understanding of content. These short constructed response questions are graded on a rubric, and they are equal to 2 points each. A second type of short constructed response questions will show up on the writing portion of the reading test. And then these students are going to demonstrate their proficiency in the skill being assessed by constructing a sentence that corrects a revising or editing error. We can expect that these questions will be worth 1 point on the new STAR test. So you can see that these are going to be beginning in grade third grade, going up through high school level courses. So let's take a look at how we can begin practicing these short constructive responses inside of Canvas. Inside of your Canvas course in the module, go ahead and click the plus sign, and we're going to be creating a quiz. Create quiz, and we want to use those Canvas new quizzes. Today we're going to look at short constructed response and add item. To begin editing the quiz, click the title of the quiz. Go ahead and set that point value to 100. You want to always put a due date, but to actually edit the items on the quiz, we're going to click build. To add a question, we'll click the blue plus sign, and the question type we're going to use for the short constructed response is the essay. Go ahead and click the essay. You don't have to give a question title, but in the next box where it says enter question prompt, you'll click in that box and you will enter all of the prompt information. Now in this box, notice all the options you have. I can just simply enter text, but I also have the option of entering in tables, creating tables in that spot, uploading media, for example, images that I have saved. And then not really modeling star, but there is an option that you could insert videos and hyperlinks. I can enter the text for my question here. So you can enter as much text as you'd like. In addition, I can click the upload media to add any images that are needed for the student to answer the question. And if that question, you might need to resize it so it's easy for the student to see. I'm going to go ahead and expand this text box because it's really small. So you can just drag the bottom corner so that I can see everything right here on the screen a little bit easier. And so I'm actually going to expand out the size of that image so it's easy for the student to read. And then I actually am going to center align that image as well by just clicking the button while I have the image selected. Okay, so I have all the text entered for my question. I can use to resize the font if that is not exactly what I want. I can change the font. I can add as much information as I want in the prompt section. After you have your question entered, you'll want to set up how what you want available to students when they are responding. So the default option is that rich content editor. I'm going to show you how it looks like with and without it. So do you want just a simple text box for the students who respond in, or do you want them to have some options for formatting for their answer? Depending on the test in your content area, spell check could be an option. I have noticed that on the STAR test, that's for some of the short constructive response questions that spell check is available, but that would definitely depend on your content area. The other things would definitely just be based on your specific test and your situation. So you'd want to make sure you have a good understanding of your content area test for any of these. Okay, so if I set it for rich content editor, let's take a look at what that would look like. So once I have that set up, clicked, I'm going to click done. So I have this question side by side. So I have the STAR Online platform where how this question looks. And in Canvas on the left-hand side, right-hand side is the STAR test. And so you can see the content editor box where the students are going to be responding on the STAR test. They have some of the same tools available. So they can bold or italicize, underline, super subscript. They can make a numbered list or a bulleted list. They can indent their work. And on this specific question, spell check is available. They also can make a table and they can use special characters. And so all of those options are available inside of Canvas, but there are some additional things that the students have. So you'll just have to decide. I think it's probably worth it. The students are going to need to know how to use all of these different things. And let's compare that to if I just give them a text box. So if I go in edit and I take off, I just unclick the box for rich content editor and click done. And let's take a look at how that looks now for students and see that side by side, the star question on the right-hand side. Okay, so you can see now the students just have a text box to enter. They do not have the formatting options that are available on the STAR test. And so you have to decide what's going to work best for you and your students in the situation. Sometimes you may want to use just a text box, but students probably need practice with all of these options so that there is not a disruption or a problem when they're taking the real STAR test. Okay, so that is the short constructive response as we can create it inside of Canvas. If you need any support with this question type or any other question type, STAR 2.0 question type, please make sure to reach out to your ITS.